Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Legion 99 podcast, your source for the latest tactics, news, battle reports, hobby talk, and general Legion chatter. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Legion 99. I'm Nick. I'm here with Keegan, and we've got a couple special guests with us. We've got our buddy Evan Paul from the 5th Trooper Network, and Mike Dashes Berry, also from the 5th Trooper Network, apparently.
That's what they tell me.
He's back.
He's back, and we got him first.
That's right.
Yeah, don't tell Jay and Kyle. This is on the DL.
I'm glad we're buddies now.
It's
I
been
mean,
so
they
weird.
had to know.
Yeah, I know they do. I know.
Don't tell him you're back, or don't tell him that you came here first.
I mean, me
He just,
here
like, found his way back in.
Scoundrels. Yeah.
Yeah, we know Jay doesn't listen to anything else, including his own cast. So you could probably show up on the Scoundrels, and he wouldn't
Jay?
even notice.
He said he listened to this
That's
one.
fair.
We have to be careful.
He did. Yeah, he did. He did say he listened to one.
Oh, I did.
Well, we have a lot to talk about here.
He did.
We got points, we got rules, errata, we got Ewok Battle Force rules. Yeah, just like a lot going on here. Very exciting week in Legion. They gave us a break with the week Shatterpoint release. They were like, nothing for you guys this week. Unsurprising,
sure.
but then it was like just like an avalanche of everything. So, which is great.
Yeah.
Very excited. What do we want to start with here?
Well, we're also giving the Rantono a break this week, and so don't stop listening now because we've got a brand new segment called "This Is the Way," which is what our new version of structured hot takes. But the catch is, no one here knows what the hot take that they're going to have to defend is. So stick around for that at the end after our great segments. We should probably start with after making shitty comments about Jay. We should probably remind everyone we are part of the 5th Trooper Network now, and we encourage everyone to join the 5th Trooper Patreon. You get quarterly rewards mailed out to you. We access to the great Discord community, so you can actually talk to us. It does have a nice kind of narrower audience, so I think conversations happen with us. And we've worked out an exclusive discount with 6 Up Supply. It's our biggest discount that's regularly offered. So that comes in if you're a patron at the $10 tier. So check that out. I'm sure Jay's probably going to overlay a link, and I'll put it in the show notes if not. But I think we should start with the news, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you didn't hear, we got points and errata this week. But we're going to hold that because first we're going to talk about Ewoks. Because we got what is probably the final spoilers for the Ewoks, right?
I think so. It's been a good run for us. Every episode, I think we've been able to talk about new Ewok stuff for like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun.
But yeah, they gave us the low gray article that also included like the actual like C-3PO card, like the real image, and I think it had Chewbacca's ATSD card too. Mm-hmm. And the gun does say 1 to 3 because there was like the box art has like one of them has 1 to 2 and one of them has 1 to 3, and everybody was like, "Oh no!" But
that was Cody all over again.
But yeah, we got low gray.
We did.
Rapid reactions article on the 5thtrooper.com.
Oh, there we go. Getting all those slugs in.
Yes.
Since I assume you wrote that, you want to read off? You want to share the card here? We'll just talk about it now.
Yeah, sure. All right. So we got Mr. Logray. He is 45 points. He's a Bright Tree mercenary. He has a command slot, 3 trainings. He has Aid Bright Tree Trooper. He has Independent Aim or Dodge 1, which I think is the same as what Boba Fett has. Inspire 2, Low Profile Nimble. He is a white save with converting surges on defense, so sort of standard Rebel Trooper saves, 4 health, 3 courage. Very courageous Ewok here compared to his friends anyway. And weapon-wise, not a ton to talk about. He's got a melee-only staff that is suppressive and nothing else. He also moves at speed 2, and I think that covers it.
Yeah. 45 points. That's like really good for what he brings. Like, basically just like better than a rebel officer in Bright Tree. So
It is, and notably, as because Wicket is, he can go with the rebels right outside of Bright Tree. Notably, low grade does not have the
Thank
rebel
God.
icon. Yeah, this would be bad.
C-3PO and Low Gray are Bright Tree only, and Wicket can kind of scoot around.
As soon as they left Endor, they were like, 3PO ain't in charge of shit.
Yeah,
You are no god.
Wicket snuck off to be the what was it? That there was the comfort Ewoks for the PTSD treatment in one of the Aftermath novels talked about that. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Really?
I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't
I don't
read
think
those
Wicket
novels.
was-
Wicket,
I
they
don't
didn't
remember.
specifically say it was one of the interstitials, and it wasn't necessarily Wicket, but they did.
I read the first
they did
novel,
have comfort Ewoks,
and I really enjoyed those things, but I
Yeah,
never
I did
read the
too.
second or third, so I'm guessing it was in one of those. Because, like,
I enjoyed
Yeah.
them more than I heard people complaining about them. So
They were worth the read. I think.
yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah.
More Wedge is always good.
Yeah.
it introduced Cobb Vanth. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they,
think
like,
so.
Cobb Vanth.
Oh, yeah,
Cobb
that's
Vanth was,
right.
like, they named him because he was,
Right.
like,
Yes.
that he bought the armor from the Jawas. So that was, like,
Yeah.
that actually, like, happened in the book first.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that was super cool.
But yeah, I mean, he's got all right. So back to Low Gray, he's got some
Right, yeah.
super spicy upgrade cards here that only he can use.
Yeah. So he has 3 training spots, 3 training cards. I'll let when you all talk through them. But
I'll grab secret ingredients. So Low Gray only. At the start of each round, put 1 aim or dodge token on this card. At the start of this unit's activation, it may remove any number of tokens from this card to gain the matching tokens. After this unit uses aid, it may remove 1 suppression token. So 5 points to make aid free.
No downside to
Losing
aid.
like yeah.
And also 6
Right.
tokens throughout
That's
the game.
there's no way you don't take this on him ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
good.
That's really good.
yeah,
Wild.
This was we didn't have enough room for this text on his
So
unit
give him
card,
an-
so we're
give him a
giving
training.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
not
do feel like all of these cards feel like 2 years ago they probably would have been keywords.
yeah.
As opposed to like upgrades. I think it's just like a different design philosophy that
Right.
honestly I like the space this opens up and like doing stuff
unique
like this.
upgrades and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
This is better so that we don't clog the CRB with things like, okay, probably nobody else is ever going to have
Exactly.
strings, right?
Yes.
Probably nobody else is ever going to have guidance. And so this way you can, for all that complex card text, you keep it in the context of the one card, you keep the CRB cleaner. I like the approach more.
yeah,
I do too. Shall we take a look at herbal medicine?
Surely, go ahead.
All right, cool. No. I actually think this one's kind of
he's the doctor.
More
yeah.
of a fan of Allopath.
Okay. I'm writing a new "This is the way" prompt for you.
Yep. All right, so herbal medicine is a exhaust card. It is a training slot, 10 points, low grade only. It is a free action. Choose an Ewok trooper unit at range 1. Remove 1 wound from the unit or restore 1 defeated miniature to the unit. So 10-point upgrade that allows you to bring like 5-point models back. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to exhaust it. He doesn't like recover. You're gonna have to recover a lot. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
probably not.
If there's another reason why you're recovering every turn, which I guess this third training could be an example of that, maybe, probably not, then I think that that's a better reason to think about taking this card. But he's gonna want to move and then take a token action. I feel like most turns, and then pass it over to somebody.
I could see improv taking up the command slot.
That's fair.
Depending on the rest of the army, because
Yeah.
like I could see that, and then like you'd have an incentive to like maybe just like recover and dodge somebody who's nearby or whatnot, and then you might get some more use out of it.
Or you put offensive push on this bad boy. And you
okay.
and you get the aim from offensive push. You immediately aid it, and then you recover and get both back. I don't know. That seems expensive, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive, but it lets you move, recover, and still get that aim in. So yeah, I kind of like that.
Big brain. I like.
That's what they pay me for. What can I say?
That's why you're on the cast. I don't know why I'm here.
All right, the third one. Who wants to take it?
I'll do it. I don't think I've read anything yet.
Nope.
All right, Onward to Victory, exhaustible, low grade only. This card may only be exhausted at the start of the activation phase. If you do, discard it at the start of the end phase. So it's exhausted. Okay. And while this card is exhausted, when an enemy trooper is defeated, one friendly Bright Tree Trooper unit may perform a speed 1 move. 10 points. So it's 1 turn only. You start to get frantic Ewok excited running around once they kill and eat a Stormtrooper unit. Seems like powerful free speed 1 moves are always good, but the this is going to take a whole lot of practice to get your timing down, chipping away at units. It doesn't have any range requirement, so anyone on the battlefield who dies on the other side triggers speed 1 moves. So this seems good if you've got you're using the Rebel Commandos as your 2 Bright Tree or non-Bright Tree units in there with the sniper on there for some finishing off weakened units and the Pierce. Realistically, you're probably only getting 1 to 2 moves out of it. But
yeah, it seems like you got to plan a lot around that to get a lot out of it. I'm not sure it's worth 10 points. But
I think there's a scenario where this card is really good once your horde of Ewoks are in melee for a turn or two and have chipped some things down. You'll have units that are close to finished off. They may kill something and then get a speed 1 move after they kill something to move into melee with something else. So protecting and bouncing around a melee ball would be one scenario that I can imagine for this.
Yeah, I think the biggest place if this is going to be good, it's like in turn 6 key position scenarios where you really need to because in a lot of those scenarios you're like, I really would like to kill that unit, but I kind of have to move to get there,
right?
Or like to score the point like after you do it or whatever. And I think with this card you can maybe set some powerful things up with that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And intercept the transmissions too. I do have a question though for you guys, just based on the rules text. If Logray is dead, does this card still work?
I don't think so. Like if he dies that turn.
Yeah. Because it just says while this card is exhausted.
Yeah, I think upgrade is when a unit's down, I think all upgrades come off the table with it too. So
okay.
It's not like a command card.
Yeah. I'm just like a little funky there actually. Like we've never had an ability like this kind of like stay.
Sure.
It is weird because of the fact that there's no reference to range, because usually that's what will save you, is that nobody's going to be within range, whatever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that Keegan's right. I don't remember the exact part of the CRB that would point to that way.
No, it's cool. I just figured I'd call it out. I like to find loopholes.
Oh yes. Cool.
Logray.
We got other Ewok stuff announced too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're upset that we're not getting a speeder bike with an Ewok on it, well, hold on to your hats, folks. We're getting Paplu's Wild Ride. They just announced a new organized play kit called Paplu's Wild Ride. It looks fun. I guess the idea is that Paplo is flying around on the battlefield, and the idea is you're playing a game, but you're also trying to control where he goes so that you can score points at the end of the round or something. Seems interesting. We still haven't. I'm disappointed because these cards are super good that it comes with. It comes with alt art Ewok command cards, and I'm sad that they don't just come with my Ewoks. Yeah, I've got to probably wait months to get my hands on these.
Yeah, those are super cool looking.
But yeah, it comes with alt art cards, and they look phenomenal, and I need them right now.
The art for Assault is a point of view.
Yeah, Stormtrooper that's dying
before you get assaulted.
It's pretty
assault
rough,
is
man.
ongoing.
It's like a PG-13 command card.
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
like two of these guys have eye patches.
Yeah, the one on Ambush looks like
Serious.
Black Kristen
Like he's a
cosplaying as an
child.
Ewok. Yeah, the super cool cards in there. This scenario looks pretty fun. I've been notoriously bad about carving time out to do these kind of scenarios, but this one's got my attention for sure.
I mean, I'll at least be using that standing orders all of the time.
That replaces
standing orders, right?
That replaces some stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Pretty sweet. Can't wait. Ewoks, baby.
In other news, we're recording on Saturday the 10th, which means LVO tickets just went on sale this morning. I know the Grand Championship package is already sold out, and if last year's any indication, it may be sold out.
I thought it already all sold out.
It probably did. It only took 2 hours last year. But LVO tickets are out and in the wild. Give it 3 months, and you'll start seeing people who bought and couldn't go. I may be one of them. I bought and I still need to clear that weekend for some of my stuff. But that's exciting coming up. As we've said the last couple of years, if you didn't get a ticket and you want to go, keep planning. Plan your trip, because tickets are always become available. You'll
get to play.
Yeah, you'll get to play. Yeah.
I've only ever seen one single event actually fill every seat, like day of.
Yeah.
Like when they started, and that was Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain actually had 64 participants round one. Like I've never ever seen that before. There's always a few people that don't show up. So definitely go to LVO. You'll be able to play like all day.
Yeah, I guess High Command's kind of a different beast, a little bit.
Yeah.
The
last chance. Oh, the invite stuff.
Like the actual.
Oh, like Worlds. Yeah, I guess that's what the last chance qualifier is really good for. Is like they just like grab like 20 people, and we're like, you all get to play. So it's like, but yeah, they also confirmed that LVO and the Lone Star Open that's in like 6 weeks are both world qualifiers officially.
Yeah.
So
and I think Lone Star. I know it's sold out as of right now, but I think they're expanding.
Nice.
And I hope that I'm not revealing anything and revealing it wrong. But I think they're trying to get some more tickets in there. So,
I mean, I'm sure they're trying to get more tickets in there. It's fine.
Yeah. Cool. We're gonna do an abbreviated feature tournaments of the week because Nick's got. One.
Yeah, in 2 weeks we're doing the Top Deck Game Store Championship, the summer store championship.
Yep.
But basically, call the store, reserve your spot. We've got like 23 or 24 people registered right now, so got a lot more spots.
Still got to call
because don't you want one of these trophies?
That. I want that a lot.
This is our featured 6-up product of the week. Keegan, you want to talk about this a little bit while I show everybody?
I was going to do it when we were planning on doing it between segments because
we're going to do it now.
The interstitial ad creates a natural break and can flow the narrative.
Fine, we'll wait
because we're goddamn professionals.
I ruined it. I'm not a professional.
You didn't ruin it. You just teased it. It was great. It was a great tease. We'll go more to depth with that. Awesome.
We've got more trophies.
Yeah,
we've got 3 of those for that tournament though. 3.
Yes.
Come on out, but. Yeah, we're not doing battle reports this episode either because, like we said, we have a lot to talk about.
I do have a quick other ad. Is that I mentioned last time I was on the Evergreen Cup, which is it's on August 18th, and we got plenty of spots left. I think that the fact that it's new, maybe it has people a little bit frightened, and it's not going to be a regional, but it's going to be what I'm going to call a pseudo regional because we are going to have 3, probably 4 Worlds invites from store championships that we've had permission to give out to the top 3 or 4 people, and then we have a whole bunch of sponsors from various folks, and so it's going to be great. It'll basically be a regional by any other name. And come on out, Bellevue, Washington.
It's like the bottom line is like everybody wants a Worlds invite. Everybody, you don't want to have to play in the LCQ if you don't have to. So like if an event has 4 invites available, that's basically the same thing. The prizes will be different, but like the prizes will probably be better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, like they can be better when they're not something that's like, official AMG stuff. But yeah.
And you probably said it. What are the dates on Evergreen again?
August 18th and 19th and 20th. Bellevue, Washington. I know it's a little far out for some people, but it's right in AMG's backyard, and I'm hoping we can make a splash.
You got an airport?
Seattle.
We'll fly.
Seattle Tacoma Airport. You might
I mean, I just don't know. Is that like close to where you would be playing?
Yeah, it's as close as any West Coast city airport.
This is
huge out there.
All of this is very veiled.
It's a suburb of Seattle.
There we go.
Fun fact: I was actually born in Bellevue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
My dad was stationed up there at the time in the Navy. So
nice.
All right.
Wait. We forgot about the Ewok force org chart.
I have that. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, we're all over the place though.
I had that opening our segment.
I don't know. I'm so confused.
Okay. I mean,
it's fine. Right. I'm confused. It's okay. It's just me.
That's all right. Yeah. No. We're good.
Don't leave us.
Yeah. Nick and I found that when we're left unattended, we really just kind of go off the
rails.
Oh no.
Like Mike Cirillo left us one time a year and a half ago for an episode, and I think we spent most of the episode talking about Spider-Man. So
we did. There's a new Spider-Man movie, guys. It's great. Go see it.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to.
All right.
Okay.
Keep us going, Keegan. I'm sorry.
We are going to kick off our big first segment number 1, uncreatively named Points Errata Impact of Ewoks. This is just we got Dashes and Evan on here to let's have 4 points of view on all the significant change. This points change in errata has been heavily anticipated. I think we've talked about it here on the cast that a lot of the stagnation and kind of lower interest has been just like waiting and knowing something was going to change. So that change has happened, and we're gonna talk about it. But as Nick said, we didn't cover the Bright Tree organization and news, so let's talk about it right now. First up, allowed units. I don't have someone else going to have to read the actual force organization.
I will read it.
Okay.
Allowed units: Commander Han, Leia, Logray, Wicket, and C-3PO.
Yep.
Operative: only Chewbacca. No operative Luke. Sad. Sad.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Fine.
Also, I'm okay with no R2D2. Also okay with.
He should be there though. He was there.
He definitely
he is
should be
there. And this Force Org has no business with getting secret mission.
Fair.
That's fair.
Special forces: Ewok slingers, 0 to 2 rebel commandos, no strike teams.
I like that.
Womp womp womp. Core: Ewok skirmishers, 0 to 2 rebel troopers. Heavy: Chewbacca. Unique upgrades allowed: call to arms, herbal medicine, all word to victory, secret ingredients. If you look at the organization chart, it's 1 to 5 commanders are operatives. 1 commander being mandatory. 3 to 6 core. 0 to 3 special forces. 0 to 2 heavies. And you can only take Chewbacca, so that's interesting. Maybe the catapult's coming. And then it also lists support as an option. And there are no supports in here. So speculating that maybe we're getting gliders soon or something else.
I think there's just future proofing on that kind of thing.
Haven't they talked about gliders? Maybe abstractly, but when I saw that support slide, I was like, oh, they're gonna put gliders.
I hope they're terrible. I hope they're really, really bad. They got to be really, really awful.
What I was thinking of was that there's going to be 3 minis that are 1 health each. And that you have to roll a white dice every time you move. And if you roll a 1, you die.
I do think it's interesting because I'm pretty sure if you look at the Blizzard Force org, that you're not allowed to take special forces at all, even though there are no special forces.
Yeah. It's
that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it definitely doesn't. track.
And yet with 5 at first, they had the op slot, even though they didn't leave any. And I think at the time we were like, oh, well, they're going to put Ahsoka in there whenever they come out with her. So I feel like they're thinking ahead with these.
Rips.
That'll be 2025. Gar Ahsoka. Look forward to it.
This is
also
not another salt about Gar Ahsoka.
They do have a special rule.
We did that. We've done that. You were here. We did that.
No, it was last episode with
that
Mike.
was with Mike.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It also has the Battle Force also has a special rule, and it is that Bright Tree Village Trooper units do not remove one less suppression at the end of the round, which is phenomenally bad. That's like
I do believe that's Ewok.
Is it Ewok?
Specific.
Okay.
Because
yes,
the two you have to take are 2 non-Ewok rebel units, in addition to the other.
The Bright Tree, the little spearhead, not a teardrop spearhead. It's.
They don't. Yeah, like it doesn't necessarily have to be Ewoks, right? Because C-3PO commander is Bright Tree. But yeah, it is
so like not
Han,
Han, not Leia, not Chewbacca operative. Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's spicy.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of opportunities for Inspire in this list, and I think a lot of the command cards.
If you take like Leia, Logray, and the ATST, it's like you have like Inspire 7.
Yeah,
4 upgrades, which is a lot.
And then you can put the 8-point command to get 2 more on one of those. So it means that you have to use Inspire basically instead of relying on end of turn. Which if you're prepared for it, I feel like won't be all that bad. It definitely means that the funky situation is that if you have a Ewok trooper that's like a box carrier that's way on the other side of the battlefield, is that if like let's say you saved your orbital strike for a turn 6 and you're assist player, then you would actually just prevent him from scoring with 1 shot because he would technically be panicked after that because he wouldn't do the end of turn removal the same way everybody else does.
So are you guys looking at this as a drawback? I'm just interested because I'm looking at this, and like when you combine it with the other abilities that they have, I actually think that this makes them better.
It sort of feels like how Pathfinders or Jin or Cassian with Danger Sense. It's like oftentimes you like that you don't have to remove that suppression when you rally. Sometimes you roll for a rally on a unit that has like 2 or 3 courage, and you just don't want to remove that suppression, but you have to because you rolled a block or whatever. So it's like, I guess I do see it as like a positive in some ways that like you're always going to have cover at least. You know what I mean? But
so I think we need to like paint this a little bit more in contrast to that the abilities you're always going to have in a Bright Tree list, because I think once you take into account that C-3PO is 40 points and he has Compel Bright Tree Trooper on him, that means that you don't care if they're suppressed. They're not ranged, so they're never going to like shoot move. So you like the timing of the move is pretty irrelevant for Compel. For the most part, there are going to be some exceptions to that. And additionally, Logray is Courage 3. Right. So, and he's 45 points. So for 85 points, you've got 2 commanders that are giving your entire army Compel and basically making them immune to panicking for the most part. And so I'm looking at this and I'm just like, okay, your army has permanent heavy cover, essentially.
It's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fair if everything's moving along with the Ewoks in the way that they're supposed to.
I think you could run into problems with like lists with suppressive, like multiple suppressive keywords and stuff like that. Like I think you might run into problems there, like as you would normally. Like but yeah, I guess I didn't think of it like that yet. It's all very new. It's all very exciting. There was a lot this week, guys.
There was. Yeah. And this is a very like. I know that this is not a Shatterpoint podcast. I'm gonna keep this brief.
We don't pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay,
we just don't talk about it usually. But I'm not going to shut you down.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Shatterpoint. It's a really great game. You guys should all try it. But this like kind of overlapping ability synergy is like a thing they do with that game a lot, and I think is like indicative of their design philosophy.
Yeah.
And I think as we see them develop more and more stuff like this, we're gonna see a lot of these like interlocking pieces that individually kind of look like maybe they suck, but but like when you put them together, they actually like build this thing that is really powerful.
I dig it. Yeah, no, I like it. I've always liked I have not spent enough time looking at this to really like start intuiting the combos that you're talking about. But the way that I have played in the past, I really like that style of play of knowing these ratcheting up. I mean, I play Anakin. It's all about building up to that.
Absolutely.
And before that, it was Jin, Pathfinders, Cassian, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this for the Chaos Monkeys. I'm looking forward to this for, and I think that with the advantages that you were just talking about, there is also like not taking suppression off, just like with poorly used danger sense or something. It takes skill and practice to figure out how to do that well, because you can definitely, especially with the new suppression panic impacting objectives rules, you can screw yourself out of a end game if you do it wrong. So I dig it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our non-controversial segment, part of this segment.
Is the rest going to be controversial?
Well, points in errata. That always just feels like a third rail for me. So
There was only one on the errata sheet, right?
one what?
There's only one change. It was a choke.
Yes.
Choke Dark Troopers, Blizzard Force.
Dark Trooper wasn't an errata. It's in the CRB. It was a CRB change.
Okay, we're splitting hairs now.
Listen, it's important because the singular of errata is erratum. So I think that
Nice.
we should
I love this.
dude, Micah nailed him.
You
there.
got
Did you
it.
hear
You
that?
just like straight up.
I do not feel bad for
Anyway,
the
you can
hot
recover
takes
from
that I've
that.
just given you that I have keyed out for you right now. In fact,
He's shuffling them around.
Yeah, I absolutely am. You've taken away your past too.
Bring it
I'm
on,
taking
I
away your
can
past.
handle
Okay.
In fact, you have to do both in the same amount of time that you would have to do one.
That's fine. I can do it.
All right. We got a table up here, handily done. Thank you to all the community and Polemark. Actually, I think put the one together that I've got in here with pretty colors. So, should we just go faction by faction on this?
Sure. I think the way I think we did it last time, we like listed each change for each faction, and then we kind of discussed it as like a whole for a minute, and that like was a way to like make it a little quicker than individually. Like everybody will have an opinion on everything. So
Yes.
Do we want to?
So do we start with Empire?
That's my next question. Let's
Let's open. With
I think we start with Empire.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's the elephant in the room, right?
yes.
Yeah. Sure.
It still is.
Yes. All right.
Spoiler alert.
3 commander changes. Agent Callus down 5. General Veers down 5. Imperial Officer up 5. Core Stormtrooper HRUs up 10. Thank you. Bumper to old Boba.
Finally.
Old chronologically, not old age-wise. Imperial Boba up 10. E-Web's down 5. Dewback, and then getting into some upgrades. The Dewback Flamethrower down 5. The Dewback RT-97C down 5. Callus, his bow rifle down 10, so it's a total of 15 off of him if you're taking the heavy. And then on the Dark Troopers, their heavy weapons, the SM-9 frag launcher went up 5, and the assault cannon went up 7. That is our Empire changes. Thoughts?
I mean, I love the Callus change because I like me some Callus, even though he was always a little too expensive.
Yep.
Maybe he's probably a lot more interesting now in Double Bounty. Ironically, like Double Bounty with Boba Fett and Callus went down 5.
Okay. Yeah.
And I played it before, so it's like, I mean, the Dark Trooper points probably aren't enough.
No, I agree.
I don't know about that.
I mean, none of us really know until we get started. I think that it's within reason is what I would say. Like, I'm definitely not saying like, oh, they were crazy to only have done it for 12 points per unit. I think that I would call it like on the low end of normal. And we'll have to see. Like, I've talked to various people who played Dark Troopers, and they mostly have said, importantly, this includes Andy over at the That's No Moon podcast, and also the Fifth Trooper Network, who was in top 4 with the only Dark Trooper list in top 4 with the Remnant list, is that he told me he wasn't going to have to change much, but that it may end up being 1 less activation, which is not insignificant.
He was single Dark Trooper, right?
Yeah.
No, he was double.
Wait, he was double. Okay.
He was double in Remnant.
I think 24 points in a double Dark Trooper list is that's a good swing for this to see what happens.
Plus, most of them had a generic Imperial officer,
okay.
so it's like kind of de facto a 29 point increase to those lists.
That like that's a pretty big swing at a common list.
Yeah, 30 points is a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to drop 30 points of upgrades. You kind of have to drop an activation.
I guess, like, in terms of saying quote not enough, I mean it is probably enough, but like the issue truly is like the potential meta deforming nature of the Dark Troopers themselves, along the lines of if you have no impact in your list, is that it seems to me like you'd have like a really bad time even with a suboptimal-ish, at least compared to the way it used to be, Dark Trooper list. You're just not going to be able to do anything to them, and I think that's sort of the ongoing concern that people have.
I'm going to soapbox for a second because I haven't commented on Dark Troopers publicly.
First, you heard it here first, guys.
Heard it here first here. I don't think even before this nerf, Dark Troopers were overpowered at all. I do think that they pose, I think, as Evan pointed out, a significant meta warping effect on list building that eliminates a significant amount of units from like even being considered in tournament list building, which I think is a problem. But I don't think they're overpowered. I actually think that like you can build a lot of good lists that just eat double Dark Troopers for breakfast, and it's not even close.
There's a ton of variations on our favorite Anakin RPS saber list.
Yeah.
I mean, and every list of those.
Seriously though, if we've ever done that and watched a Dark Trooper player across the table's face fall on turn 2 when
I know what.
3 Dark Troopers.
Yeah, but as a person who plays Gar, never. Like that's they're like my least played faction over the last like 3 years. Like it's almost impossible to build like a rebel list that can stand up to them, and also the other things in the meta is the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, and that goes in your that goes to your argument in a way that like it warps the meta. I brought a ton of critical and a fair amount of impact, some of it with Pierce, to Worlds, and I played 3 Dark Trooper lists, and like I won one, but arguably my opponent made multiple mistakes, and the other 2 I got just run over.
Yeah.
So it's like it's tough. But Anakin saber throw with an RPS fire support, you can one-shot one. It's not crazy. It's been done.
It's super.
It's been done.
Someone who's playing this well before these things came out, it was super fun to see them. And I haven't played against them that much. My meta didn't bring too many of them. The one game I had. I had that smile effect that Mike and I share.
Yeah, it's just like oh, you brought Dark Troopers. Yeah, sweet. I'm actually happy to see them set up on the other side of the table. I'm like, oh, you paid 200 points for that. You did. That's cool.
Bye.
I hope you're ready to have them evaporate. And
yeah, I see what you mean, Mike. It may have been better at the end of the day to do something like give them armor 2 instead of full armor, but keep their old points the same, so that you don't need to drastically change your list in order to be able to deal with.
Yeah, let them have cover at that point, or what? I don't know. There are a lot of things they could have done. We don't need to get into what all of those things are because I'm sure they've been beaten over the head. But I do think, that this is going to make them even worse against their bad matchups. Just got really bad for Dark Troopers, really bad.
Yeah, and what my hope for is that it'll have a second order effect on kind of how they impact the meta, because by their bad matches getting really bad, that'll disincentivize the prevalence, and that'll turn the knobs a little bit.
It'll scare people off playing it.
Exactly.
Which is really what this is all about, is that if people are scared enough to not play them, then there's no problem, right?
Yeah. And the sweet spot is scare people off from taking them as the default so that they're everywhere, but not so much that, because they're cool units and they're cool iconic Star Wars things. So we want them in there, but for people who are committed to them, just like other units. We should probably also mention, it's worth mentioning, the other impacting change, we can just filter this in on the points, is that they updated the rules for Guardian so that Guardian can no longer be used on units with, is it unstoppable? Is that their keyword? Yeah. So basically,
unconcerned.
Thank you.
They have both.
Okay. The lists that relied on IRG, and that was annoying as hell, even for an Anakin list.
Well, that was the negative play experience, was that having to deal with the medic and the IRG, and that's somebody who's taking it to a tournament tomorrow. So you heard it here first. Empire
thoughts. I don't know. Quick thoughts.
Overall, good. I think not great. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think that the HRU's Boba Fett was way too cheap, and they touched the Dark Troopers. I think that was good. Empire was already the best faction, so they really giving them any decreases on things is gravy. But they did decrease the things that were not played a lot, or So I think it's good.
In combination with the HRU, do you want to talk about? Should we talk about Op Vader not being in Blizzard Force also?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they took Operative Vader out of Blizzard Force. Bye.
Bye, Felicia. I mean, we talked about that on this cast. That was, I think, Nick. What I first heard it from you as a proposal.
I've been calling for it for months and months and months. I think at PAX, this is needed
ready
to happen.
For another hot take. I know we haven't gotten to the choke thing yet, but I think they could have left Op Vader in with that choke.
Maybe.
No, they could have. I feel actually with all the changes, the reason why this matters is more to do with the silly theme of Op Vader being Blizzard Force more than it is a balance thing, to be honest.
Yeah. I do really like that it looks like they've, at least with Empire specifically, they have taken a very targeted approach.
Yeah.
And said they basically these are the top performing Empire lists. We're just gonna bring them down a peg and see where we end up.
They put a lot of thought into it. It's really apparent. I think Empire is probably still going to be, maybe it's going to be 1 or 2 most likely in terms of faction strength. I think that there's probably going to be a lot to either Callus Boba or Iden Boba.
Yeah, Boba's still really good.
And there's I'm sure there's other stuff out there. Yeah, 10 points. I'm not saying it's not enough.
He's priced fairly compared to the other bounty hunters in that faction, I think. He's a full 20 to 25 points more now, which I think is reasonable because he's that much better.
Yeah, really the only standout to me as far as bounty hunter points is actually that Din Djarin
Right.
is too much. But I think that everybody else feels good other than that.
Yep.
That tracks.
Mercenary, next on the list.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll go ahead and take that one.
Nothing for Din Djarin. So cross him off for another season, I guess.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, as a person who played against a 501st list a couple weeks ago and got a Whistling Birds off and killed half of their ARC troopers in one go, yeah, I think that like it's okay that Din Djarin's not amazing. It feels bad.
Clone players are very okay with him not being in the meta.
Oh no, a third of your army's gone because I played this command card. Sorry. All right. Gar Saxon -5. Black Sun Enforcers up 2. Mandalorian Super Commandos and Swoop Bike Riders -5. Black Sun Magdet Enforcer up 2. Mandalorian Super Commando Gunslinger and Marksman -2. That's it. Targeting basically Black Sun and Mandos. Black Sun, I guess they feel they've been overperforming.
I find that really interesting.
I don't agree with it.
I agree with it.
Lucas's data was showing that their win percentage was like 0.58. So they were mildly overperforming. It seemed like
they're really good. They always have been. Free aim tokens is excellent. I do think that it's interesting that they I think if you look at these points changes kind of in totality, you can kind of like be like, oh, they picked like the top 8 worlds lists and kind of like went down the line a little bit to some extent.
Luckily, they skipped every.
They did, which I'm okay with, but we can get to that
later. I'm okay with.
Yeah,
we'll get to
that. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, there's like Black Sun are not everywhere. Like, I feel like we saw one Black Sun list at Worlds, and
they're not everywhere. I think that what Lila did was to uncover something that had always been there, and I think most players would not have been able to do what she did specifically, but I think there's actually a lot of people who could do something kind of approaching what she did, and I think that if people were insane enough to like spend all the money to be able to play that list, is that I think that it would have taken over. And so like a little bit of prophylaxis here. It is mild, mild adjustment. I think it's fine.
4 points per unit feels that's what we do. That we've seen that in the past when it's this is maybe something. It's not going to dramatically change most.
It only changes the list that spam them. Right. It doesn't like the people like most Shadow Collective players, like at least I see locally, like they're sprinkling in anywhere from like one of them to like 3 or 4 of them. And like if they're only taking 1 or 2, it's like, oh shit, I gotta just drop my targeting scopes or something like that, or like my recon intel, or it's like they don't. But like if you're taking like 6 of them, like now you have to like make a hard decision. Something's gotta go. Like one of them is going to lose efficiency, or you got to drop another heavy or something like that. So. It's probably fine. I like the changes. I like the direction in which Mandos went. I feel like it's interesting.
Certainly shouldn't have gone the other way.
Right. No, it's interesting because like, I played them in a team league game, and I absolutely like. I got a little bit of hot dice in my favor, but like they are really good when they are rolling paint, and when they are not rolling paint, they are really sad. And it's just a problem that like Mandos have in this game. It's really hard to make them feel like Mandos when they're like 1 wound each. And like,
you play them with the shields normally?
Yes, they need
because I've seen like there's a guy locally that plays like quad Mandos, and he plays them with the shields, and they actually seem it's like a low act list, but
you're afraid to shoot them that first time because they're going to tank.
The shields are important. Because I mean, losing that many points per game is rough for anybody. And
I wish
you only have 4.
I wish that the shields somehow could somehow regenerate at somehow. I don't know how that how you make that work. That's fair, but once they lose the shields and they don't have dodges, they are just in heavy cover, and like there are 2 blanks on every single die, and impervious only goes so far. In my game, it was like the Mandos just like rolled 7 or 8 every time, like after aims, and it was just like they just rolled over B1s. But and Maul did his thing, and that was before the force choke nerf.
There were Garsax and Mando lists that were doing pretty decently in decent sized tournaments. Like there were a couple top 8 articles that we'd had over the course of the past few months that where they would show up. So I think that there definitely is something to them, and time's going to tell whether this adjustment was enough. But I think it's really solid, and it's really going to be worth trying. It's a very fun.
I got a lot of locals playing
like,
them a lot,
so
and like
cool.
they're now they get to play them a little cheaper.
Totally.
It's like, oh, my list went down like 24 points from last week. Like that's great. It's like, it's fine. Shadow Collective just needs new units.
Yeah.
But next on this list is neutral upgrades.
All right, let's get into it. The most controversial change of all
is the AG2G
quad laser cannon.
Down 3. We both had the same joke.
Yeah. That's why we have to have guests on.
I like that gun. I like that gun a lot.
Evan, I don't get it.
It's what?
Yeah, I'll tell you later, Mike.
I like that gun. It went down 3.
Is that the 6 black die gun?
With impact.
Yeah, it's the 6 black dice gun.
It's not bad.
God, I forgot I had Mike. Yeah, the other one's the range for critical. Yeah, 7 dice gun with the gunner guy. Why not?
Yeah.
Force choke, the big one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
The points are kind of around here.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about this in both swings. So it's up 5 points. What does that make it? 10 total. And the biggest piece was the errata or CRB, whichever one it actually was, erratum, because we're only talking about one change here.
There you go.
God damn it. That instead of picking a mini and doing a wound to that mini, you are now picking a unit and doing a wound to the unit. So functionally, this means no more killing box carrying leaders. This means no more killing specific heavies. This means no more putting wounds on specific minis that you want subsequent wounds to kill.
This means no more force choke.
Generally speaking, based off of the zeitgeist of many people who are shouting into the ether, means force choke may be dead. It is certainly a dramatic change to how force choke and those who use it and love it. But I'll put it this way. I never really got into using Anakin's tempted keyword to put force choke on him. I'm not finding a reason to. Yeah, I'm not finding a reason to do it now.
Fire support the faction. Turns out 3 red dice impact 3 and surging to crit is really good.
And barrier was better than saber throw, even, and barrier was better than choke also. So I feel like it was between those two in the past.
So I think it's clear that this is a major, massive nerf across the board to force choke, and it makes it very difficult. There a lot can be said about. We could go down the easy path. Conversational path of, well, what, maybe there are scenarios. What are those scenarios? But I don't like that one. Well, here's what I want. Let's skip over the force choke is dead thing and talk about what other upgrades, like what force powers go in its place in anyone. And through that, you can talk about which units are dead because they don't use force choke anymore.
If I may interject there, I actually think, as someone who has played a lot of force choke, that it probably didn't need to also go up in points. However, I think it may not be dead.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I was being hyperbolic when I said that.
I know,
because you were talking about how everything else it's not quite dead. But
so I think in a lot of scenarios, like obviously we talk about force choke in the context of choking a leader with a box and choking heavy weapons and like doing like crazy shenanigans and stuff. But oftentimes, like I would say like 60 to 70% of the time that I've used force choke in the past is like you swing your lightsaber with Vader, you leave one guy alive because you want to stay safe.
Yep.
Right. And then Force Choke just lets you walk away next turn without burning your Force Push.
Yep.
And it still does that.
Yep.
And that's how I played with it a lot. Yep. And I think it probably didn't need the points change but I think that the use case there is still that is still a valuable ability to have.
Yeah, auto wound is without any line of sight requirements or without any other actions required is still. So I think the accurate statement from my point of view is Force Choke in all of the ways that it was considered valuable and played is no longer in existence anymore. But I take Echo in my lists, and I primarily play him because a near guaranteed pierce wound is great in cleaning up things, but I have to have line of sight on those.
And you have to pay 60 points.
And I have to pay 60 points. Now, having this in something that's going to be there for
but he can do it from total safety.
Well, yeah, unless you're dumb like me and always seem to move them forward.
It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. And there's still and my red dice blank. So I think it's different. I'm excited to. I think that scenario you just laid out, Mike, is an excellent example of how it can still be game changing, game winning, especially in late game.
Yeah, and I think
Mike's scenario is a good reminder that any lightsaber players need to be aware of the fact that you can select
yes
in order to make sure that you leave that last mini alive, because that's could be the difference between life and death for your Jedi.
And if you look at Force Choke as an upgrade that basically says 10 points, exhaustible, refreshable, Master of the Force, that keeps your lightsaber user from getting shot at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we would all pay 10 points for that.
I do think the cell is easier for Master of the Force 2 characters, and when we're talking about lightsaber users, isn't that just Dooku? Because like the other one is Yoda can't do it obviously, but then Pal probably isn't going to take it.
Yeah, was he taking it before?
No, I don't think so.
Not really.
At least most of the time it was anger push, and
once burst came out, it kind of was never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that Dooku will definitely still think hard about taking choke. If it's Master of the Force 1, that's when you get to the point of like, okay, how am I going to use this more than once? And then if I'm only going to use it once, then is it worth 10 points?
Yeah, it's definitely not an auto take anymore, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
auto takes are bad.
I think so too.
That's like. But I'm sad. I'm still reeling. It's going to be a long time before I get over this one, guys.
I also think as a relatively new comer to the Church of Force Barrier.
Do we have churches for everything now in this game?
Yes. Anything that starts with a B. I think this is a good opportunity to maybe try Barrier out on, like, I think Shadow Collective Maul with Barrier instead of Choke with Pikes is actually very powerful.
God, I don't need to think about Pikes having another thing to keep them from taking Pikes.
I understand
so much trauma over that.
That's how I use my Anakin.
There is something to that. For sure.
Like I just use Anakin to Force Barrier my Pikes and Gar. So I'm sure Shadow Collective Maul can do it just as well.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Choke is not just like we're taking this no matter what, in addition to Force Push, is going to open the door for some strategies that we don't see because this overpowered thing is now less. But I
liked it the way it was. I was very comfortable with the way things were. Fine. I see your logic.
Coming next time on Legion 99, change is hard and how we can overcome it.
It hurts.
I mean, you asked about like what other upgrades before. I do think that with Shadow Collective, something to consider is non-Darksaber Maul with push, burst, and fray. And then when you're kitted out that way, is that you can infiltrate at range 3 and still get in there with a move, push, standby. And so in that sense, you're not using him like in the traditional sort of commander move up with your gunline thing, but rather he is like a pest that is in enemy lines at the very beginning of the game and that they have to deal with. If they don't have a Jedi themselves, then that could be like really, really, really tough to deal with as the game goes on. So I think that's at least worth thinking
Don't
about.
give people ideas. That's like pretty much impossible to deal with without a Jedi.
Yeah. I've played enough against
Bobby Joe has reeked a lot.
Yeah, I've got Brett down in my local area who loves to do that kind of crap. So are there do any of the like previously off the table upgrades get into the mix, or is it pretty much making room for barrier and burst of speed in other places that they weren't being played?
For Shadow,
maybe reflex and assage,
right?
Because that way, with her recovers, is that, and she can use dodges and
getting her like an extra dodge is good for 5 points, and then if she gets to recover it, great. If not, whatever. Saber throw on like Shadow Collective Maul without the dark saber is something that's like still probably really good because it was really good on CIS Maul.
Yeah.
Getting rid of losing cunning is hard.
Yeah, I think
it's hard. I mean, I kind of feel like for Shadow Maul, I think you're probably looking at like burst because he can also like remove the immobilize via witch magic if you want to. Like if you're in a position to like, if I just but
I think just very short thought. I think generally speaking, the force powers, there's still most of them are really, the issue is not that like you're just not even considering them at all for the most part.
Yeah.
Even with like, I would leave a lot of force slots blank before I took the rest of them. Seriously.
No,
like,
I think I've said the same thing. Actually,
started thinking about like force guidance a little bit this week, but I'm like, no, it's still bad. Like why? Like you don't want to give surges out. Like you don't want to activate early to use surges. You want to activate like late with a force user. So it's still bad.
Yeah.
Like
upgrade says activate your Jedi first.
Unless you're playing Anakin, in which case it's fine, but force guidance is still not good.
There's the force guidance is way down the list of things. I'd put choke on Anakin before I put guidance on him.
Agreed. At 10 points. At 10 points in errata, I would put choke on that.
Absolutely. All right. I'm gonna move us on before we dive down the inevitable rabbit hole of what would it take to make force push not auto include. That's a topic for another time.
When it's nerfed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how big of a nerf? Because I think it would take a lot. But that's we can do a whole segment on that sometime when we get really bored and hard up for content. Rebels, or do you want to talk about Separatists? Because we know that there's a quick follow on from the Force Choke stuff. Let's do that. Dooku, 10 points. Hey, Force Choke's free. General Grievous down 5 points. God damn it! This chart has STD as super tactical droid. It took me a while to remember the real meaning of that. Down 10 points. Yeah,
classic.
I need more caffeine. BX Commandos down 4 points. Droideka down 5 points. Deflector shields for the BX Commandos down 8 points. That's 12 points off shield BXs, and Grievous down 8 points. So 13
on the gun. Yeah,
on the gun. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. Thoughts. I'm not a big Separatist player, and I do want to be conscious of time because I think we're going to lose Evan here. So let's burn through this one.
I think literally nothing changes.
I think this doesn't change Sis's place in the meta whatsoever.
I'm not even sure it changes their list.
Like the list that were good for that they were like decent with didn't change, and these changes were not enough to take those units. Like GG and BX were not great before Scale was absolutely gutted and left bleeding on the floor with their latest CRB change. and these point
Grievous
decreases are
is
not
definitely
going to
more
help him get
interesting.
over that.
Like, as somebody who plays a bit of CIS, like, he's interesting, but he's still not better than Maul or Asajj. Like, he's not close. So it's like the gap is too far.
You play all three of them. That's how you max out lightsabers in a list,
right? Yeah, I mean,
so I just had this thought. I'm not sure that it's actually true, but isn't like a 50-point Ewok unit with the axe basically the same like average as like Grievous's lightsaber?
Stop it! Stop it! Get the hell out of here! Probably.
Grievous has critical too when he's swinging both, so I think it's technically better because of that.
Right. It's not.
No, he's only got critical with the
grace.
pistol. He's got to take the pistol.
Yeah, I don't
Just
think
black,
these are
white.
lightsabers.
In the movies, though, that actually makes
Right.
thematic sense. I think I've seen the Ewoks have a far better kill rate than Grievous actually using his lightsabers.
We didn't see Grievous kill anything in the movies.
No.
He just runs away.
It's in the deleted scene.
Yeah,
It's a
he
deleted scene.
mostly kills B1 droids by secondary effects. So.
He probably coughed malaria or something on some of those of those pneumonians, all his coughing and shit. But
yeah,
probably killed them. But
yeah, Anakin was putting them out of their misery with the infection that he gave them.
Droidicus went down 5. They're still the worst support option in that faction. So that's it.
We don't need to go down a rabbit hole. Never mind.
The rabbit hole is that I'm writing an article for next week about how points is that like all this is a step in the right direction, but that if we really want to give life to old units, is that, in my opinion anyway, card text needs to be changed, and we can't just use points in order to get old units.
That's fair. I also don't think droidicas are bad since we're going down rabbit holes.
All right, you have 30 seconds for your rabbit hole, and then I'm moving us on to Republic.
You can hide characters behind them now. Like they are literally walking line of sight.
Are they taller than a silhouette when they're built standing?
Yes. I
guess you just forget your ball mode models at home and use the token, and you just.
If you have any elevation,
yes, elevation.
I think
elevation is a problem. No doubt. I'm just.
Yeah, like the ATRT is a lot taller than a Deca.
Anyways, that's all.
Speaking of things that elevation is a problem for, Republic got some great buffs to the ISP.
Republic got some great buffs in general.
They did, yeah. I'll follow through with my segue there. So from the bottom up, hard points. All 3 ISP weapons, the missile pod, twin beam cannon, twin blaster cannon, got 15 points off. That brings that unit down significantly. Makes it a little more compelling, except it still can't climb over anything.
I think that's okay.
What's that?
I think that's okay. I think the beam cannon's cheap enough now that it might actually actively be good.
Yeah. It's going to see play. You just need to be really careful when you're flying.
Yeah, and I love my ISP. I love the paint job on it, and I've wanted to make it work. So this is something that might get me to play around with it some more. The Saber tank is also something that everyone's been missing, apparently. So its beam cannon, it went down 15, and the tank itself went down 10. The NASP Fluttercraft down 10. ARC Troopers, the full unit went down 6. The LAT went down 5, and Captain Rex down 5.
You know, my 501st list is like 30 points.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah,
it was already okay. Like, it was already pretty good. Like, those lists were already pretty good. They're just harder to play. They're very you can't make mistakes. Now you've got like a couple more medics.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I looked at this and I was like, all right.
I'm 501st might actually, it might be the best original faction.
Yeah, I think this is a case, and it may be the exception that proves the rule, but in direct opposition to what you just said about old units and fixing with card text via points, I think they just fixed 501st with points.
I would like to argue that 501st.
No, I know you already were kicking ass with it. I got it, Mike.
I will say I've been playing Anakin Rex 501st.
Yeah, making that work.
And I don't think Rex needed to come down in points.
Nice.
Well, he did.
I know. I'm just contrary to.
I disagree.
I am glad. I'm glad to hear that. I will
on.
also, and this is as selfish as much as it is generous. I will remind everyone that Kyle, at least 4 times last year, called you and me the best Republic players in the game. So I think just because you were able to make things work really well, doesn't mean Nick and Evan here didn't need 5 points on Rex.
Okay.
I didn't need 5 points on Rex because I wasn't going to play Rex.
Ouch.
I mean, that doesn't interest me at all. 501st does, but Anakin interests me. Not. Yeah. I get it.
All right. Let's see. Other thoughts on Republic for 30 seconds before we jump over to Rebels?
Learn how to fly fluttercrafts and you'll be rewarded. I wrote an article about them. I hear, I always see people bringing it down because their version of flying fluttercraft is to, in the X-Wing parlance is that they jousted with it. And that they flew directly towards the enemy and then turned around and did an aim butt shot. And then they complained that
I played an Invader League game against somebody and he didn't realize that it was rear arc only when he started flying them towards me.
Oh no.
He flew one towards me and I'm like, dude, it's rear arc only. And he's like, oh crap, I didn't even realize that.
You can use the pistol.
No.
But when I've been playing Cody with a single flutter with relay as the sort of the Cody token vehicle, and it actually works really, really well. And so I really encourage people to give it a shot. Learn to kite because when you do that, and when you can't get shot back, you're not going to die. And that's my spiel
Fair
on it.
enough. Yeah. I would like to just tack on here because the most important points change for Republic actually isn't on the list we're working with. Padme went down.
Wow, that's a missed here.
She got cheaper by I think 5 points, which also didn't need to happen. But thank you, appreciate it. She definitely didn't.
Losing standby sharing has to count for something.
She was too good back then, I think.
Yeah. She was so good that Kyle called me one of the best Republic players in the game when I was playing her. So that's how much she needed to lose that.
Keegan, can you mention that one more time this episode, please?
No. I got my to it, and the last one was pointing out that it was bullshit.
She's still super solid, and this just makes her even better. So
yeah. I did drop her from lists after the standby sharing because that was kind of her main. I tried to make her work for a little while and I didn't find anything obvious. This makes me. It doesn't change the list I'm running right now. That still feels solid. Which your list went down 30 with the 501st. My list didn't get touched at all. My current Anakin triple barks. So, but I think it definitely makes it. I liked her as a unit before for a lot of reasons, not just the standby sharing. And so I'm excited to give that a shot. Thank you for catching that. I need to fix that before I copy this into the visuals.
Yeah, no sweat.
Okay. Rebels, let's run through them really fast, which is dumb because there's, I think, quantitatively the most.
I mean, they have the most changes here, but they basically got the least help. So
yeah.
That's kind of my opinion.
Yeah. Lando down 10, Leia down 5, Commander Luke down 10, Mando Resistance down 4, Clan Ren down 4, Tauntauns down 5. Forgot Tauntauns were a thing. Down 10 on Cassian's rifle that makes that free. Mando Rockets down 3. Let's see. On the X-34, the RPS gunner went down 10. There's more RPSs to fight Dark Troopers, but you have to think if you want that or the you can take that and the Ion because it's a hardpoint, which went down 6, and the Mark II went down 5.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Beskad Duelist on Mandos went down 4. The Rebel Shotgun, Ithorian Shotgun SX-31 went down 2. Tristan and Ursa Ren both went down 4. So much like Shadow Collective, very, very focused target improvements to Mandalorians, trying to make them more relevant and a smattering of other changes. Let's do this in 5 minutes so we have time for the rest of the final segments.
I feel like Cassian wasn't getting played enough anyway, and so making the gun free is really solid. And even though
he might be the most played Rebel unit. except for like core. But yeah,
Well, but the thing is, I think Evan's still right because he might be the most rebel played unit or whatever, but he's still not getting playing enough because nobody's playing rebels.
Right.
maybe that's why I said that, because like I feel like I run into a lot of Op Luke lists, and then people are running Ahsoka with Sabine all the time now.
I have.
and I think
I've
they're
been playing
experimenting
a
with
lot of
new
unit. I've been
units.
playing lists with like Cassian and Ahsoka. So like, I got 10 points. It's like,
yeah.
it's good.
I think Cassian, Ahsoka, and maybe now with Clan Ren might be the template to try to overcome the fact that the core units are still very not solid, which is the problem that Rebels had before, and they still have it now.
I think this the Clan Ren targeted stuff makes it my not actually made up, but hypothetical Sabine, Ahsoka, and then Clan Ren, like the synergy. Synergy, thank you. Synergy of like the chaining synergy of all of that becomes a lot more compelling with these points drops for Clan Ren.
I think the biggest change here is Luke down 10. I think for a couple key reasons. First, I think he was already super takeable at 160 and people didn't take him enough. That's whatever. However, bringing him down to 150 makes him basically, I feel like he's kind of an auto take. And I also think, just in context of the previous conversations we've had today, the fact that we're probably going to be seeing less Force users in general makes having your own a lot better. And with choke kind of disappearing, probably at least until people like kind of like
genius figures out that it's still good.
Right. Once people start coming back to the bell curve, I think seeing less Force pushes on the table is going to make Commander Luke way better. Just generally. So.
Commander Luke's problem for like the longest time has just been that Operative Luke exists, and it's like, most people would rather have like a really good steak than a really good cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like, they're both things that are good. They're both like food. It's like that's like, a terrible analogy, but it's the analogy I gave you. So that's it. Luke's probably
food.
There you go. All right.
Moving on.
I think we check out errata and CRB. I think we covered everything else, so now you only have an erratum to check out. No.
Well done.
Maybe. Cool. Thank you for that conversation, everyone. I know we skipped and rushed over a couple of things, but good takeaways for all that. For more exciting and in-depth and probably not sarcastic, it sounds like. Evan, are you writing a serious article about coming up this week about that you were very pitching?
Yeah, it's been like 3 articles since I've done that.
All right,
so even though Jay doesn't read, but I can feel like Kyle squinting a little bit that I should start writing about something real with Legion. So yeah.
So for all those takes, check out the Fifth Trooper blog on those. All right, we're going to take a quick interstitial here. Nick, you want to talk about these new trophies that you got?
Oh, man. I've got this cool new trophy from 6 Up Supply coming up for the Top Deck tournament. Man, this is awesome. It's like a kyber crystal, lights up. You see it's like flickering, different colors. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. Is it on the website yet?
It's my goal is to have them up on the website before this episode drops, so it should be up now. And these are going to come in. We're really excited about these. Dick's got that blue one there. They come in a few different colors, and it comes with the light that you can insert into the bottom and control with a remote that does different flickering patterns, does different color augmentations. Much like our existing trophies, you can also get the custom engraving of the front plate on it for whatever your event is. And we should be having a better interface for that, so you don't have to just hope we remember to email us and then email us. Also, special 6-Up shout out to all of our customers who have been waiting over the last month and change. Drake had an injury he was recovering from that really impacted our manufacturing and our shipping, and I really appreciate everyone's patience as we navigated through that. I know that was not not fun to have pending orders from a store for so long. So thank you again for your loyalty and your patience. All right. That is our supply product of the week. And moving on to our final segment, introducing This is the Way. Rantono is taking a little bit of a break. Basically, the way this works, each of us is going to have an opportunity to offer a blistering hot take because you didn't get enough of our hot takes in the previous segment talking about points, errata, erratum, and the CRB. There is a catch, though. None of us know the topic or position we're going to be talking about until it's revealed, and each of us are only going to have 1 minute to ardently and passionately defend that. So it may be something we agree with, and defending it comes easily, and it may not. Who am I kidding? This is designed to hurt. So everyone gets one pass, and but I did warn them their next option may be even worse than their first. So, are we ready? Everyone here ready? You all psyched?
Always.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Right. First coming up into the channel. Let's see if this works. Nick, go ahead and read out.
Nick, I actually can't stand painting miniatures, but I just can't say no to the sweet, sweet cheddar it brings in. Daddy's gonna buy a boat.
You going with this or are you passing?
I've got to pass.
All right.
You can't do it.
Balancing for exciting casual play automatically causes great competitive experiences. Well,
Pass is a one-way door, buddy. I'm not starting the timer until you start talking.
This is like a no-win here. Oh man.
Worth it.
No, I can't. I don't even know how to attack this, man. I'm sorry.
All right, here's your special bonus one because this dead air is bad radio.
Oh man.
AMG has completely fixed Dark Troopers. Mission accomplished. Okay, this one's better. Yeah, so the Guardian thing was definitely the biggest negative play experience going into Dark Trooper matchups, right? Them being able to Guardian crits, whatnot, and combined sometimes with PALP barriering them. It caused a negative play experience. However, the regular list without PALP with Boba Fett usually, or another bounty hunter or whatever, were also pretty strong, but they took a nice points hit. A lot of these units, like a lot of these points changes targeted units that were impact units, things like the X-34 land speeder, the Republic heavies, the NASP gunner that also has impact. So a lot of these impact options have gotten a lot cheaper. And,
And there's your time.
All right.
You made it.
That was a minute. It didn't feel like a minute, but I feel like we got ripped off.
It's not very long, it turns out.
Oh, man. A minute is only 60 seconds, I learned today. Thanks, podcasting. This is great.
All right. Here we go for the next one.
All right. So I wanted to say that people that back into parking spaces are the true heroes. You may hear some selfish fools out there who might complain about getting to work on time because, when you back into your parking space, you take extra time, and sometimes I pull up too far, and then you put on your reverse lights on, and then I have to reverse. Well, don't listen to those selfish wackos because the studies have shown. I'm not sure if this is true, by the way. The studies have shown that backing into parking spaces means that pulling out of the parking space is safer, and therefore you're the one who actually cares about your fellow man, not that selfish person who needs to get to the ICU, but instead has to wait for the person in front of them to slowly adjust their Ford F-150 to fit into a tiny space. Just like hearing a complaint like that, it just makes me sad for whoever would do such a thing. This is the way. I feel like I've already made my point. So yeah, I'm good.
That
you got
was,
another one,
that
Keegan?
was
That wasn't
okay. That was a
enough.
really specific example about ICUs and Ford F-150s. I'm not sure we're dealing with unbiased opinions from a doctor quoting studies.
I agree.
Studies have shown.
I do have another one for you, but we will let's see if we have time at the end. Because you chose not to use your pass on that one wisely. Probably, I think that was a good one.
I wasn't going to fall into that.
Nick, you want to get revenge on me, and we'll finish with Mike.
Yeah, sure. Hang on, I got to type it up.
Okay.
Do you want to just go with Mike and then go with Mike?
All right, get it typed in and it'll be queued up.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
I mean, look,
We're an audio medium.
That was the best possible list. I don't know how.
Okay, so he's not listening to me. Mike truly believes that Rexstar was the best possible name for that list. The 23 seconds that I spent to come up with that name was more than anyone needed. Go, Mike.
I mean, it was way more than anybody needed. There's nothing to like really say here other than it was awesome and amazing. And I'm gonna pass because I want something that I actually like I actually believe this one. So let's.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. There you go. Now read this out loud.
I only came back to the Fifth Trooper out of pity for all you losers who couldn't figure out how to find me on Dash's TV, and I'm only here until I get bored again. Oh, man.
Keegan, you're supposed to pick things that he doesn't think, but you did it
I mean,
in a row.
either he doesn't think it or he doesn't want to say it out loud. I accept the second one.
Fair.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I have just not been getting a lot of viewership on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Dashes TV. And I am like, you can sub to me there. You can give me money and like, I'm just not getting it. So I really need you guys to also go there and hit the sub button once you're done here. And once I hit like $500 a month or something, I'll probably go back to just chilling there for a while. Is that acceptable?
I'll take it. That's the right.
Okay.
And I'll tell Jay not to listen to this cast, and his contrarian ass will make sure he listens to it. All right, Nick, you ready?
Are you ready? All right, here we go. Go.
Yoda is better than Anakin, but I don't play him because Anakin is easy to play. Yep. You know, I said it. I said it earlier. Yoda's just miles better. Most people that I know who actually play Republic have a lot more success with Yoda with a lot less effort. And so he's easy across the board. However, as Mike has proven and as others have proven, and everyone knows Anakin feels like the best. He's the auto take. He's in there everywhere. And so what I actually am doing is that I knew I needed extra time to learn him because I'm just slow on Jedi. I always was. I never played Jedi before him, and I'm too scared to start any other sins. I played Yoda a couple of times. I played him once in a skirmish thing, and I was like, well, I can't figure it out. And so, yeah, no, Anakin's easy mode, and that's why I play him.
Republic's pacified.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. We'll save Evan's backup for I don't know, Legion 99 After Dark or something, because I know you got to go. But or unless you really want it.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, it's only a minute, so I looked up the traffic's not so bad,
Okay,
so we
good.
can do it.
Here you go.
Oh God, really, it stabbed me. It stabbed me right.
These
in the
are
head,
far
this one.
more
I know
personal.
deep down that my brother that would be Gregory Paul, aka Pilot Paul, is the winning sibling, because even a pilot with a pathetic regional airline gig is cooler than whatever it is that I'm a doctor of. Also, I don't care that I ended this sentence with a preposition. Yeah, so well, that the last part you can totally end sentences with prepositions. So anybody who would ever even joke about that is probably a conceited a-hole. So we'll just skip right over that one. As far as the other stuff, like, look, I got to be honest. Gregory and I have spent a lot of time on this exact conversation, and more than once, what has come up is some data when it comes to what women consider to be the most attractive profession in men. And like, doctors performs pretty well, but wouldn't you friggin' know it, the pilot always ends up being number one. And it's always been, that one's always hurt me. And he flies planes. His hands are on a control stick for a fast moving aircraft, and my hands are like getting dirty with all sorts of disgusting fluids, and I probably his is a little bit more glorious. So yeah, sure, more power to you, Gregory. Good job being a pilot.
You passed the minute a while ago. I just want to see how long you'd go on that.
A taxi driver for the sky.
All right, and this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way to never get your guests to come back on your show.
Yeah, this was fun.
We'll get some other guests back. There's always more where they came from. Also, anyone who thinks rules about prepositions in end of sentences is pretentious and then pronounces data. It's all right. There you go. There you go. This was I had a ton of fun with this. Thank you for being the test bunnies on this one, and thank you to Nick for writing a cold one for me with very little context. Mike and Evan, you both repeatedly throughout this cast told people where to find you, but go ahead and tell them where to find you.
Go ahead, Evan. You got it.
thefifthtrooper.com. Read the blog. Mike, are you going to start blogging again?
So here's the thing.
You
I wrote a few,
back
but
in the day.
inevitably what ends up happening is it's like my week to do it, and Kyle has to nag me like 12 times to actually write the article. So and they already asked me to do it, and I was like, guys, you know how this is gonna go. So I don't know. You may or may not find me on the blog at the Fifth Trooper. However, you will find me on, you guessed it, twitch.tv/-tv. I'm really looking to hit that 500 mark, so head over there and hit that sub button. But you're also probably going to be able. You'll find me on the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I think more regularly, coming kind of returning there. So, and you'll probably find a blog article or two and. Kyle has pressured me into it enough.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. Nick, always a pleasure to see you. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with, I don't know, we had a load of news and things to talk about. So, yeah, we'll come up with something in a couple of weeks.
Games.
Thank you, everyone.